Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. Last year on the windswept Lancashire moors, I headed out with quite a few different drivers to see which one would win a place in my bag. And rising above the rest in this battle was the carbon cacophony of crushing drives, the TaylorMade SIM driver. As you may tell from this introduction, I really like my SIM driver. For me, it was the best driver of last year, and I've absolutely loved the performance that it's given me throughout the last 12 months. The way it looks, the way it feels, the way it sounds, everything about it really built it up for me to be a fantastic club. But gate crashing onto this love affair, TaylorMade have dropped the SIM2 driver, which has been introduced to supersede the Super Special SIM. And this is the problem, because I can't personally see how the SIM2 is going to be that much of an improvement over the SIM, so it has the potential to really be a crushing disappointment. So TaylorMade are bringing out 3 new models, the SIM2, the SIM2 Max, and the SIM2 Max D. And you're going to see this type of lineup in most of the manufacturers this year. So you've got a low spinning option, which is the SIM2, a more forgiving option, which is the Max, and then the D, which is a draw version, just to help you if you are struggling with a bit more of a slice. Now, as a helpful tool, TaylorMade have sent me through this deconstructed SIM2 driver. Now, the first difference between the SIM2 and the SIM, which I've noticed, is the injection port. So they've got this speed injected face, which I've talked about quite a bit. They've actually moved the port around onto the side, so it now sits on the toe rather than having 2 screws on the face. From an aesthetic standpoint, I get it. I actually quite like the 2 screws on the face though, so I just don't want to move on. It's still got the twist face. If you're a fan of that, fine. I mean, I've always, I don't mind it if it makes that much of a difference to me. I'm not so sure. But some of the huge differences here, you've got this forged aluminium ring here, which sits around the top of the club head. That attaches on to the titanium face, and then basically the rest of this driver is now just carbon fiber. And what that's allowed them to do is actually whack a much heavier weight on the back of this club to try and increase MOI. Moment of inertia, basically forgiveness. So that could be one of the big differences between the SIM2 and the SIM. So first of all, this has got to be the best moment of anything. Sorry about that. Please don't report the video. So the models that I've got through here, SIM2 Max and the SIM2, I'm going to be focusing on the SIM2 because that's more suited towards my game, and also that's going to allow me to do a direct comparison between this and my SIM driver. For the review section of this video, I'm actually going to be using this hazardous smoke shaft. This is the RDX version, in a 6.5 70 gram. This is a shaft which I've wanted to like for a long time, just because it looks really nice. And maybe this is the version where I finally actually like it. And then right at the end of the video, I'm going to be switching over to the current shaft that I'm using in my SIM, the Diamana, and testing both those drivers out in exactly the same spec. So we're going to have a direct side-by-side comparison. So with the SIM, I'm going to start off in 8 degrees and let's get some initial data. Just before I start hitting the SIM2, I'm sure you've noticed that I'm wearing some new clobber. So I'm delighted to have joined the FootJoy team. Got some really exciting content coming up for you guys with them, so please stay tuned. So some of the differences between the SIM2 and the SIM. On the bottom, they've hidden the fin and they've encapsulated it within graphite. And the way they've been able to do that is they've got rid of the sliding weight. So there's less customization available in this driver than there is in the SIM. Now, price-wise, it's still up there. So they've taken away a little bit of adjustability, but they've not really added anything else in. They're playing on, you're going to have a more forgiving driver, it's going to be easy to hit. Do you actually need that little bit of help with ball flight? Maybe not. And with my SIM driver, it's always stayed in the middle, so I've never used it. The slightly new color scheme, and to be honest, I think I probably prefer the look of the SIM. I think by hiding that fin, you are lessening the amount of visible technology. However, what they have done is they've got so much more carbon fiber in it, there should be a difference in performance. Oh, first swing, that was definitely what you would classify as a loosener. So I've kept this at 8 degrees to begin with. And all I'm doing in these initial shots, again, loosening myself up, but also just seeing some of that initial data before honing the settings in a little bit before the tests. Oh. Now the way that that came out, the way that that felt, I've got a feeling that this could actually be pretty decent. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to keep hitting. I'm not going to say anything yet. A little bit of the left's going on here. Absolutely no issue with distance, only 3 shots in. Forgot what the hell's going on with my face. It's like whipping back to the screen. That was better. That flight is... I'm only a few shots in. The flight on this driver is just completely dead. There's no spin on there. It actually feels slightly firmer. I probably prefer the feeling of the old SIM. The old SIM, it's only 12 months old. I can literally feel how low the spin is off impact. I can feel it, it's just dead. And this has always been my issue, actually keeping the backspin down. I think for the first time in the history of club reviews, I might actually crank the loft up a little bit on this. Now, like the distance is like straight away is unbelievable. It's absolutely flying off the face, I can feel it. I'm only gonna crank it up 0.5 to begin with. That's all I can stomach at the moment. Right, so we'll crank the loft up just slightly. Just desperately trying to get it up in the air. Again, it's just dipping out of the air low and left. It's a 70-gram shaft. I'm gonna switch up the shaft. Kurakage, 60-gram shaft in an X, slightly lighter, in the 8-degree SIM2. So it has the potential to be an absolute monster, this. Right. Have we got a winning combination now? Why did that spin so much? Oh, David, this is a rather confusing evening for me. I was a little bit low out of the face, actually. Right, the distance is great. Distance is absolutely unbelievable. So I think my main concern with this so far is just that lack of spin in the SIM2 model. It's just not spinning at all. Now, I hit my drives with a lot of spin. If I can't spin this driver enough, I'd be concerned about a regular kind of handicap golfer getting hold of this one. I've cranked this up to 9 degrees now with this lighter shaft. Right, 1/8 spin, lovely. 342 yards. I think we may have found a good combination now. So the spec I finally settled on, in the SIM2, 9.5 degrees, the Kurakage 60-gram X-Flex, so quite a bit of a departure from where I was before. Now, I'm just going to repeat as a little bit of a sentiment there. Incredibly low spinning, so low spinning. We'll actually have a look at some of the data here. I've deleted quite a few shots and really narrowed it down just to make my point, but this was the general gist of what I was seeing. So average ball speed, you can see I was at the highest with my current setup. That was just because my strike was a little bit better. Launch angle much more consistent, spin rates much more consistent, up at 1800 with the Kurakage, and then two 342 yard drives, which is obviously why I kept them in there as well. But if you compare that to the SIM2 when I had the hazardous shaft in there and it was down at 8 degrees, so the average spin there was at 1300, well 1400. There was actually some that came out lower and then a few that was about 1700 revs. Now just to put that in perspective, in a environment when you're out on the golf course, you need backspin to keep the ball in the air. And if something's coming out about 1400 revs of spin, that's just going to dive out the air. Yes, it's going to run for miles as we saw on the data, but if you're playing a soggy Lancashire course like we're most likely going to be doing soon, it's just not going to go anywhere. Spin rates automatically jumped when I switched into the max. That's what you would expect. So the combination of the lighter shaft and the SIM2 head, that seemed to work. On to the testing. We are now onto the accuracy test. 18th hole here at Pebble Beach from the championship tees. Water, well, the ocean is left, bunkers are right. Threading the needle here is key. Couple of rules on the accuracy test. It's out of 5 balls, as is the distance test. If it misses the fairway, don't score a star. If it hits the fairway, you do. But the club head speed has to be over 110 miles an hour, just so I don't end up steering it down. Now, accuracy with this driver, I have a feeling that this might not be the SIM2's forte. I have a feeling this is just a pure distance machine, but we will see. Cue the dramatic ocean music. Come on, SIM2, you mega lofted SIM2. Let's see what you got. Well, blow me down. Oh, go, 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 go. Is it just gonna catch the edge? Oh, wow. I mean, that is literally on the edge. It's still a miss though, it's still a miss. It's a better start than I thought though. That is straight as an arrow, that one there. Club head speed up at 119 as well. Backspin up at 2, that's so much better. Carry 304, that was perfect. Oh, that's gonna do well to be all right. That was a bit toey, it's gone left, it's rocky grave. Oh no, that's plopped a great white shark on the head. A great white shark. Oh no, going even more northern. Oh, that got a bit steery. Oh, go, go, get a lucky kick for once. Well, I mean, that's good total distance in the end. That was a bit of a smoother swing, actually. And that was pretty much out in the middle there as well. That was a nice swing, even if I say so myself. Centre lined, nice. But I really eased up on that one. That was a very easy swing at 118. So you kids, start lifting things. So for the distance test, we are on the 18th here at St Andrews, the old course. The ball has got to carry over 300 yards to count. Swing speed has to be over 115 miles an hour, which I think I should be able to do today. And it can't end up in the town of St Andrews. Now the previous 2 driver tests that I've done, I've almost ended up on the tee on the first, but not on the green. But I don't want to be in the town. So erring on the left is fine. Now if this is anything to go by, I don't think distance is going to be the problem. Oh, struck it. Or did I? Go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. .297. Struck that one well as well. Come on, no fear here. I like it. Bit more enthusiasm. Carry 300, only just. Ball speed up at 178. Backspin has now jumped to 3,000. It was a little bit off the bottom of the club. The spin rates just seem a little bit all over the place here. Oof, that might be on the first tee. That might have missed the first tee. That might... Sit down, sit down. It's fine, it's 305 carry, still on the golf course. Last shot. Let's get a 4 out of 5. Right, come on. Go, 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 go. Nah, short, 3 out of 5. Ball speed up at 176, backspin 3061. Oddly though, I've started to strike these a little bit more out the middle. These actually feel like better strikes. So for the points, each of these 10 categories is out of 5 stars. And again, this is very much dependent on how I'm hitting the ball today. I wasn't swinging amazingly well, but I think that actually maybe exposed a few of the issues with the SIM2. So looks for me, 5 out of 5. I am just a big fan of the way that the original Sim looks. And really, this looks pretty much the same, certainly from when you're looking down at a dress. And I quite like the bottom. I like that carbon appeal. So yeah, 5 out of 5. So the sound, 4 out of 5. Very, very powerful and very responsive. I felt that I could hear the differences in the good and the bad strikes, which I know that sounds a little bit obvious, but I could really tell those differences. Feel, 3 out of 5. It just felt a little bit harder to me than the Sim. Features, 3 out of 5, so they've taken away that adjustable weight, and I mean, bear in mind, I never used it, but it is a nice feature to have. And yes, they've added more weight at the back for forgiveness. However, X Factor, 3 out of 5 for me. I think it has an interesting story as far as that aluminium ring and the way that the club head is constructed, but it's only moved the story of the Sim on a little bit for me. It's not completely changed the ball game. So accuracy on the test, 2 out of 5, and then distance on the test, 3 out of 5. Although that does have a little star by it, because when I was getting tuned in, some of the distances I was hitting there were absolutely massive. But this really does come on to the next 2 categories. Flight, 1 out of 5. On those bad strikes, the spin just wasn't enough to keep the ball in the air, especially when it started to veer a little bit more towards the toe of the club. Forgiveness, 1 out of 5 as well. The spin rates were just a little bit all over the place. Like they were dropping off the cliff from the toe, they were getting really high from the middle, and they were a little bit more stable, if anything, near the heel. It was all a little bit of a mix and mash there. And remember, this is the SIM2, not the SIM2 Max that I'm looking at here. So potentially the Max with that hazardous shaft or a different shaft, or if I get this driver properly fit, there could be a difference. But I would be concerned about the lack of forgiveness in the SIM2 compared to the SIM2 Max. I think there's going to be only a few golfers who could actually wield that with any success. But as always, get down into those comments below, and now it is time for SIM2 versus SIM, and I'm going to be using the same shaft, so the Diamana. Same setting as in my SIM, which rather worryingly is 7.5, so we'll see how we get on. And again, this is the main battle for what's going to go in my bag, and to be honest, I think we've seen that I would be surprised if the SIM2 suddenly leapt to the forefront and overtook the SIM, but listen, you never know. So on to the original SIM. As mentioned, 7.5 degrees, still looks like a wonderful club. Diamana shaft here, 60 grams in an X-Flex, and like I said, this whole SIM driver, this whole club, I love. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this simple, 5 decent shots each. Three, 4, 2, a little bit left. Not a bad one off the bounce, was it? Three, 4, 8. Just imagine if this goes into like the SIM2 and all of a sudden it's just an absolute monster. I reckon a 350's coming here if the strike's good. A little bit right, a little bit right, I mean a long way right. See, that's a bit of a difference though, because that wasn't a great strike. Spin at 2.4, ball speed 180, like boom, straight away. That was a better swing. That was an actual better swing, that as well. Go. Oh, that is a linksy run on that one. Go on then, go on then, go, 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 go. I'm actually a little bit weirded out about if it is the shaft making that much of a difference. Because if this comes out on top in this particular bit of the test, this is the club that's going to be coming away with us. That's the commitment I made. Oh, you're joking me. You're joking me. You're pulling my leg. A little bit necky on that one. Oh, look at it go as well. Oh no, no. Probably the worst strike so far. I don't know what to say. I think I should be saying more, but this is so confusing. Oh, that was a big old flippy hander, that one. That's actually a lot straighter than I thought. Does the shaft really make that much of a difference? It's a shaft I love. I love it. Like, I really, really like it. But it shouldn't be making this much of a difference. But it seems to be. All right, 2 more. It's not going to be. Honestly, try to cut that back a touch. Still 314 carry. These are actually straighter than the SIM. Right, 1 more. Honestly, don't know why I'm so disappointed. It's a bit. I'm confused. This is just confused the absolute crap out of me. This. Like, what does this mean? It still means for the average golfer, I don't think this is the right choice. If you're consistent with your delivery and your striking, you can get the speed. Go on then. Go on then. That's another one. 3, 4, 5. Let's have a close look through this data, shall we? So as we started filming, I literally said, whatever wins between these 2 drivers is the one that's going to be going in my bag. I'm going to reiterate what I said in the review phase of this video. I really don't think the SIM2 driver is going to suit the vast majority of golfers. It's just too low spinning. I think it's too difficult a beast for your average golfer to use. So I would be very much saying try out the SIM Max. You know, it's pretty much everything that the SIM is, maybe just slightly enhanced. Is it an absolute leap forward from the SIM? I don't think so. I have to stick with what I said. Average carry with the SIM2, 324 versus 317. Average distance total 346 versus 345. So we're talking a yard better over those 5 shots, but it is still a yard better. Backspin with that shaft and the SIM2, I actually saw a slight increase, but we're talking very fine margins here. Again, I reckon between the SIM and the SIM2 with that shaft is quite similar. Here's something different though. My actual club head speed with the SIM2 picked up. So 124 average with the SIM, 126 average with the SIM2. So that could potentially give a little bit of a reason as to why I was seeing that extra distance. And I don't know if that's to do with the extra aerodynamics on the head. I don't know, it could just be those 5 shots. But I do need to take this club away with me and do more testing on the course. So the SIM2 is going in the bag, even though I wouldn't recommend it for most golfers. And before those last 5 shots, I probably wouldn't have recommended it to me.